Okay, everyone. Welcome, and we are on our second session for our storytelling with Make Code Arcade. Just to reiterate a little bit from last time, we worked on getting our character up, which was the virus, I believe. And I think we made the head of the person. And we were kind of working on coming down the top of the head. And we'll talk about a little bit about how to build out animations with our characters today. And we'll probably get to our first challenge and talk about how to create like challenges through our level. So let me flip here over to my share screen. As we were talking about before, let me come back here one second. I think what I'll do perhaps is I'm going to see once you get enough work that you're working on inside Make Code Arcade, you have like a library of all the things you work on. This is like my library of Make Code stuff. So I can take things and I can duplicate them and make copies of them. So I'm just going to call this one project. None of you have to do this. I just want to show you can do this. Project 1. So I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm just going to open my project up, and this will be my project 1. Now, I believe what we had worked on, and by the way, I guess the second question is, did we have our jump code in, everyone? Had we done a jump code? Just toss it in the chat. I'm just looking at the chat on the side there. I want to make sure we are exactly where we were last time. Yes. Okay. So we had done a jump code, but we haven't done a sign code. So I will go through that, and let's delete that. Okay. So to look back at our code that we had worked on last time, we had built out a character. Had we built out, I'm pretty sure we'd done this. Did we build out a spawn spot where our character starts? And that was the big S right here. So just toss in yes in the chat on the side there. I'm pretty sure we did. I think the spawn was something that we had worked on with our character. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we have our character, we have our spawn, and the text on the top, I had added that up there. So the next thing we're going to work on here is let's build out a sign to kind of look at, kind of introducing what we're going to do. So I'm going to come over this way. And you might have noticed, I don't know if we talked about this last time either, but I have these little kind of tags up on the top. And these tags are created by right-clicking with your mouse and clicking on Add Comment. And I just put here, this is my start code. So I just type in, this is my start code. And over here, I just added another one. So I right-clicked, put in Add Comment, and I said, right here is my jump code. And I'm going to come over again over to here, and I'm going to right-click and add another comment, and I'm going to put this one as my sign code. The reason I use these little comments is because your code can get quite big and quite complicated. So it's good to tag your code with comments so you know what each level of code is. And I kind of work sequentially from the left side to the right when I'm building code out this way. And as your code gets larger, it gets a bit more confusing, but we're not there yet. So we're just going to work on what we have. You can make this smaller too if you want. Okay, is everybody caught up? Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat if everyone's caught up and we're kind of ready to move on to our next little component here? I want to make sure no one's behind, or if anyone needs me to share my code with them so they can be where I am. Yeah, we got a thumbs up. Cool. All right. Yes, got double thumbs up. I got 3 thumbs up. 3 thumbs up is pretty good. Maybe a couple more. Looks like we've got pretty much everybody here. Okay, cool. I even got a soccer ball. Sweet. All right, let's keep going then. So to build our sign out, let's build a sign. So come over to your start code, which is this part right here. And then come down to your character, which is your human head right here. And come over to your My Tiles, which is over in the left-hand corner over here. And under My Tiles, you will notice, and this is actually from my other class, is I have 2 question mark tiles. So to make those, we've done this before. Just click the plus sign right here and create a sign tile, okay? So I'll show you what mine looks like. I just created a tile that looks like, kind of a Minecraft basic sign. I think I use the rectangle tool, which is this one right here, to make the rectangle. And then I just added a question mark in the center of it because it's kind of like like an information session area that you can use. So go ahead, draw yourself a sign out. I'll leave mine on the screen here for a second if you want to copy mine. And then on the bottom, what is kind of important is that you put sign 1 on the bottom because we're going to do 2 different signs. and I'll explain why in a second. So once you've got your first sign kind of drawn out and done, come back to your My Tiles and create a second sign. And this one is similar, but I called it Sign One Replace. And right now that doesn't make any sense, but it will make sense once we go into the code. So you should name your second sign Sign One Replace. And I like to make it a tiny bit different than the other sign. So I just make it like the only thing I think I made different was I changed the question mark to a red color. And I just duplicated this sign. So I clicked on this sign. I clicked on the copy button that created a copy of it. And all I did was change this little component on it. Okay. And then I put sign one replace as my second sign. So I'll give you another minute or so to build your signs out. And while you're all working on that, I'm just going to kind of zoom in a little bit on my guy right here. And while you're building your signs out, what you want to do is you want to take that first sign whenever you've completed it, and you want to place it kind of close to the start of your level, somewhere like up around this area. Don't put it too far down here or it'll get lost. Put it kind of near the top of the forehead. Don't put two of them, and don't put the red or the other one out. Just put the very first sign somewhere on the forehead. So when you've got that done, just type sign into the chat menu on the side. Like I said, I can't see your screen, so I'm not sure where any of you are or how far along you are. So when you're done that, just type sign on the side, and then we'll move on to the coding component to make our sign actually talk and work. Okay, so while I am waiting for all of you to get that done, I know it'll take you a little bit. I'm just going to look over at my chat on the side there. I'm just going to click done here. And I'm going to come over this way. I'm just going to kind of chat a little bit about some of the stuff that we're going to work on here while you're still building your signs out. I know it takes time to make stuff like that. So basically how we're going to build our sign code out, and I won't build it right now. I'll wait till you're all ready to go. But we're going to create another overlap event. Actually, I don't think we haven't created an overlap event yet. It'll be our first one, so that'll be kind of exciting. And basically an overlap event takes the collision that you have on your character. Your virus, has an automatic kind of collision box around them, and it basically collides with something. So our sign, our little sign that we're going to create, actually has a collision box around it. So when your character collides with the little sign, we're basically going to fire up some code. Now, the only caveat of creating code like that is the fact that when you collide with something, you go over top of it, sometimes you'll like overlap it multiple times when you walk over top of it. And if you don't remove the sign and get it out of the way once you walk over it, you're going to have like this repeating code over and over and over again. So we want to make sure that we have that set up and ready to go. Okay, so I'm just going to come over here, and I'm just going to come over to this side right here. And how's everybody doing with their sign? How do you duplicate the tile? Oh, sorry. So to duplicate the tile, just click on the tile you want and click this little double piece of paper button right here. And that will create a duplicate of the, it'll create a copy of the sign, and then you can just change the color on it. You can use the paint bucket tool actually to change the color if you like. That's fine. And again, as I said, if you're on the tile and you want to change it, you can always come and hit this edit function right here, which is the piece of paper and the pencil on it. And you can always come back in and edit things. So don't ever feel like it's like set in stone. Your marquee tool, this one, is also very handy for kind of moving things around. If you want to like alter things, you can actually shrink things with this too, which is kind of cool. You can shrink the size of things, but that's not really the effect we're looking to do right now. Okay, I'm gonna click done here. Just toss them aside when you have those created. While you're working on that, I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna work a little bit on my virus because I thought he was a bit, I don't know. I don't really think I did a great job with creating him. So I'm just gonna maybe erase some of these top pieces up here and make him a bit more agreeable. Maybe the edge like that, and here and here. Very particular, creating stuff like this. So I'm going to bring this down here, and some of these red pieces, I think I'm going to drop them. Okay, so let's make this. He looks like he looks a bit angry. I don't know if I want him quite so sassy. Let's see here. Okay, where do you put the sign? The sign, I put it near, like, if you look at mine, I put it kind of near my spawn. So I put it like right on the edge of the forehead before you drop off the forehead right here. So you can decide where you want to put it. Don't put it too far down. Which sign? You put the first sign. So the one that's the yellow one, mine's the yellow one. The second sign is the sign replace. Remember, if you look, we called it sign one replace. That's not the one you want to use. You want to use your original sign, the first one you created. That's the one you want to put on top of the forehead. Yep. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, good. All right, here we go. So what you're going to do is, once you've got all that done, we're going to come over to the side. And I want you to click on the scene button, which is the one with the little pine tree on it right here. Mine's just taking a second to load up. And I want you to come down, and under the tile maps button, there is 1, 2, 3. So 3 blocks down, there's an on sprite of kind player overlaps checkerboard. This one right here. Hopefully you can all find that. It's under tile maps. Drag it out and put it in under your, I just put my little sign code comment block here. By the way, just to reiterate, you right click and you click add comment to add a comment block. Okay, so I'm going to say on sprite of kind player overlaps, and I'm going to overlap the sign, and that's going to be sign 1, not the replace sign. So click on it, and you'll have your sign right there. So basically, when I overlap the sign, something will happen. Now, what we want to do is we want to create what's called a story block, and you're like, what is he talking about? So come down to extensions down here, and I know I have it right here. Don't worry about it. I'm going to show you how to get it. So click on extensions, and if you click on extensions, this is all like extra stuff you can add into your game. So come down the side all the way to the bottom. And on the bottom down here, you have what's called arcade story. It has a happy face and a sad face. It's at the very, very bottom, and it's called arcade story. Click on that. And when you click on that, I've already clicked on it, so mine already has it. It will add this little brown book. And this brown book says story on it. Okay? Is everybody okay with adding that? Just want to make sure you all know where that is and it's easy for you to find. Okay, we're good? Tell me if you can't find it, if you're having any problems, I'll help you. Kennedy, you can't find it. Okay, so Kennedy, it's right down here. Right down, it says extensions right here. So click it. And it's way down on the bottom. You got to pull all the way down to the bottom, and it's right here, and it has a happy face and a sad face. Okay, so Minjun, same for you. You have to click on extensions, which is right here, right at the bottom. And then you have to go all the way down to the bottom. And it should be on the very bottom. I'll show you again. Click on extensions and come all the way to the bottom. And there it is right there, arcade story. You can't miss it. Okay, are you two okay now? Awesome. All right, I'm going to go back. Now come over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to add the story block in here. So to do that, we're going to, first of all, we're going to come up to search, and we're going to type in set at. Okay, so type in set at the very, very top with the magnifying glass. And you're probably like, why am I doing this? And I'll explain why in 1 second. Kennedy, you still can't find it. Okay, so Kennedy, the extensions button, if you come down a little bit here, there's an extensions button right here in the bottom underneath your math button right here. Okay, it's right underneath your math button. And if you click it, I got it. Okay, perfect. Okay, sorry. All right, let's come back here. So where was I? I was talking about the, right. We were clicking on the little magnifying glass, and we typed in set at right here, set space at. I want you to grab this block. It's 1, 2, 3 blocks down. It's this one right here. And I want you to put it inside your block. And here's where we do the kind of, and I'll explain this in a second, why we do this. So click on here and put your sign replace, which is that red sign with the question mark on it. So there's my sign replace, and drag the location pill, which is this one right here. It's a variable, and put it inside the tile map. Okay, so I'll do that one more time, just for those of you that missed it. Click on the second sign that you made and drag the location and put it inside the tile map. Okay, so Ali, what I'm going to get you to do, I'm going to just give you my project real quick here, Ali. 1 second. And I want you to take that, and I want you to take that project, Ali, right there. So there you go. Grab that and edit that. So you'll be good to go. Okay, perfect. Perfect, Kenny. That's good. All right, so what you're going to do now is we're going to go to our story block, which is the one with the little storybook on it. Come all the way down, and there's a little weird one here. It kind of looks like a mouth, and it says start cutscene. Okay? So Minjun, which block are you talking about that you can't find? This block?
Yes, that
sign?
block.
Sorry?
That block.
This block.
Okay.
The set at. Okay, so if you type set and then space at, it's right here, Minjun. It's right here. It's the third block down. So type in set space at, and it's the third block down right here. Did you grab it? Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do now is once you have this ready to go, you're going to click on story, and you're going to come down to start cutscene, which is this mouth one. Looks like an alligator mouth, and I want you to put it in here. And this is where we can put some information in. So click on story again and grab the one that says sprite say smiley face. It's this one right here. It's under the story again. So grab it. It goes inside here. And then the sprite can say, the sprite is like your virus, right? So you can say, wow, this looks like a great place to invade, or something like that. Your sprite can say whatever it wants. Actually, you know what? Sorry, I'm doing this wrong. It's we're talking about the sign, not the sprite. So I'm going to make it a little bit different. Let's put in let's put this in. Let's say beware of the dangers in ahead. Let's just do that. And then that's what the sign will say right there. You can even put, if you want to be even more obvious, you can type and say, this sign says, and then you can say it like that. Okay, so Minjun, the location. The location's right here, Minjun. It's right here. I'm grabbing it, and you just put it inside the block. You just yeah, there you go. You got it. Okay. Okay, so let's jump out here again. I'm just going to, okay, all right. So now if you click your button right here and click your A button and you walk over, and I know our character's still he's not very exciting right now. Mine actually has some effects on them. If I walk over the block, it says, this sign says, beware of the dangers ahead. Now you'll notice the cool thing is the sign actually switches to your other sign. If you don't switch the sign over to this sign, it will say beware of the dangers ahead over and over and over and over again. It'll probably say it like 100 times. And the reason for that is when you walk over your block, it's like a frame, and it does multiple frames, and so it activates your player overlap a whole bunch of times. And that's why we switch it out right here. Okay, so test out your code, click your play button, check to make sure your code works. And when you walk over that sign, it should only say that thing once, not like 100 times, which is why we built this block out right here. So I'll just wait for a sec for everybody to test that out. And be aware, you can also, I think right here, if you click the plus sign, you can make your text a different color. So I can make my text orange, and I can make the background color like a yellow. There's one more thing. And you can have the text do like fast, normal. I'm going to do normal. I'm going to make it normal. So you can see there's some other options on the end here. Okay, Kennedy. So if the text is not popping up, when you walk over the sign, you have to make sure, first of all, you have to make sure, come over here and you click on your character and you zoom into the sign and you make sure this sign right here that you have is this sign right here. You want to make sure that this sign and this sign are the same. So mine's the yellow sign with the question mark on it. So I'm good there. I'm going to come back to my code. And here you want to make sure the yellow sign is right here. Okay, that's how you do that. You want to double check that. Now, the next thing you want to double check is make sure that this set sign right here is the red one or the replace sign. If those things are correct, your sign should pop up. And Kennedy, if it doesn't work, I want you to copy your code and I want you to paste it into the chat here and I'll go over it real quick. And I can help you out. How's everyone else doing? Is it like popping up and showing you the information? And remember, just pop in the chat there and I can help you out. If you're having any trouble, I can always like look at your code on my computer, which is an easy thing to do. Another thing actually as well, if code gets in the way, you can right click on it and you can click on collapse block right here. So if you want to come over, you can always go like this. You can right click on your start block and click collapse block and it makes it like really tiny and small. So you can, if you don't like how big your code is, you can always make it like tiny by using that. Okay, how's everybody doing with this part right here? I'll leave the code up for a little bit longer. I want to move into like a bit of the animation part here. If you're having any trouble, just pop it into the chat there. But I'll assume if no one's saying anything that your sign code is working the way you want it to. And if it's not, just put a comment in there and I'll see if I can help you out. Okay, so Kennedy, click on the share button up in the top right corner up here and click on the share project button right here. Then I want you to copy that and I want you to paste it into the chat for me. And then I'll grab your code and I'll just put it up here and together we can troubleshoot your problem and see what the issue is, okay? Give that a try. It's always good to check out problems with code anyway. All right, let's grab that. Yeah, no worries. I can wait. Okay, while we're waiting there, you can work on, contouring the head out a little bit, or you can work on your sign and making it a little bit nicer. The next part we're going to talk about here, and I think I'll minimize this, make this smaller, so it's not so large. The next part we're going to work on here is our animation for our character, and it's a little more complicated, but you're a smart crew, so I don't think it'll be a problem for you. Okay, Kennedy, did you still need help with that part? I can help you out with that if you like. You just need to click on the share button up here, share project, and then copy just like I did right there. And then hit Control V on your keyboard in the chat there. And I can glance at your code and see if there's maybe some issues we can work on together. Okay, let's see here. Sure, Control V. So just hold down Control on your keyboard and hit the letter V as in vector. You got to make sure you hit copy though. So you got to make sure here you click share project and you hit the copy button. When this turns green, that means it's copied to your clipboard on your computer or on your Mac or whatever you're using. You just have to come over to the chat and hit Control V. Got it. Perfect. Thank you. I'm just going to grab your code here and let me grab it and come in. Okay, I've got your code here. I'm just going to attach it up on the top. And here we go. Okay, so let's take a look. Here's the problem, Kennedy, right here. See this part right here? You have to drag the location and you have to put it into the this block right here. That's the issue. So let me, I'm going to make this bigger and see if this works now. I see. Actually, Kennedy, your other problem is that it works, but I would put this sign a bit higher up. It's very low. See how there's collision blocks on top of it? So what I would do is I would come into your character, which is right here, and I would zoom in. Whoops, I'd zoom in and I come up here and see this sign block right here? I would put it maybe like right here instead of down low like that. But that's up to you. That's just a suggestion. Does that make sense, Kennedy? Is that okay? Awesome. I'm going to close this up and I'm going to come back into my code. Okay, so let's run our animation. Does anyone else have any other questions before I move along? Generally, everyone's okay? Okay. All right, so let's do an animation. So what I want you to do is come to extensions again. We're going to use a lot of extensions today. And I want you to come all the way down to the bottom. And it's this one right here. It looks like a little Elvis. It's kind of walking around just with 2 feet. And it's called Arcade Character Animations. It's this one right here. So click it. It'll take a second to load up. And what it's going to do, it's going to add another library into your code. So if you come down right at the bottom under your story library, which is right here, you'll now have a character library, which looks like a little movie camera. If you click on it, it has like a whole bunch of code in it, but the only code we care about is this one that says my sprite loop frames not moving, this top one right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over. So let's come way over this way and let's add a comment. So add comment up on the top. And we're going to type in animation because this is going to be our animation code. And make sure you comment animation at the top. So I right click, click add comment. So I know what I'm doing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create what's called a function. And what a function is like a piece of code that we can call again and again and again. It's like a whole bunch of code together. And then what we do is we put code inside of it. And then we can call that code again without having to write new code. So it makes our lives a little bit easier. So what I want you to do is come over to the side here, and down on the bottom, you have a fancy tool called Advanced. It's underneath your Extensions tab, and it's called Advanced way down here. So click it and come down, and you'll notice you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fancy new kind of libraries right here. Don't worry about any of these ones. The one we're going to worry about is the one that says F bracket X functions right here. Okay, this is the code we're going to use. So click on it. And the only option, there's only one option, and that's to make a function right here with this orange button. So click it, and it'll take you to this screen. And it's like, looks really confusing. And there's like a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Don't worry about any of this fancy stuff across the top. Just click on function and type in anim, A-N-I-M. That's going to be short for animation rather than type out animation. We're going to like shorten the letters a little bit, okay? And then once you've typed in anim into function right here, all I want you to do is click done down here. So click done. And then you have this little tiny block that says function anim. It doesn't have anything inside of it. It's just a little block that's going to hold something. Okay, does anyone need me to do that again? I can do that one more time if you like, if anyone's having any trouble with that, with finding that. Just type it in the chat, and I will do it once more for you. Anim, yeah, anim. Okay, so it looks like everyone's okay. I'm not getting any, no one's saying anything in the chat, so I'm going to assume you're okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come over and we're going to close up the advanced tab, so it's no longer open. We're going to come up to our character library. It's the one with a little movie camera on it. We're going to click it, and we're going to come up to this top one, and I talked about we're going to use this one. So bring it over and put it inside of your function anim, so it goes inside here. Now, what's happening here is this basically says when my character is not moving, I'm going to run this animation. But you'll notice the animation right now is blank. It has no animation in it, which is unfortunate. So we need to add an animation. Now, if you click on it, it'll be like this blank place with like these like things on the side over here. And that's not really very helpful either. That's not really going to help us out. So we got to figure out what to do with this, right? So what I want you to do to make this, to make our character come alive, I want you to come back over to your start menu. Here's my start menu on this side over here. And I want you to click back on your original character, set my sprite to sprite virus. So I'm going to click on my original character. And this is the part where it's a little hard. So I want you to watch very closely what I do here. Click on the marquee tool. The marquee tool is this little square or grid, I guess I would call it, next to the hand. Click on it once, go up on the corner up here, left click your mouse and drag the marquee tool out. Now, if you mess up and you get the marquee tool to here, hit escape on your keyboard and try again. you have to wrap the marquee tool all the way around your character. It has to go all the way around. Like I said, if you mess up, hit escape and just try again. Sometimes it takes a couple times to get it all the way around your character. Okay? Now, once you've wrapped the marquee tool all the way around your character, there'll be these little dotted lines all the way around your character. Take your pinky on your keyboard, hold down the control button, and hit the C button. That's copy. You can hit it a bunch of times if you want. If you're like, okay, I got to make sure that this is working. Hold down control and hit C. So that's copy, right? So now I've copied the character. Okay, yeah. And what I want you to do now is click done. Okay. Oops, I'm going to jump back out. And then what I want you to do is come back over to your animation tab, which is, so your animation function, which is this one right here. And I want you to click on the gray box, and I want you to hit Control V as in vector, and it will paste your character into your animation window. This is, like I said, this is a little trickier, but I think you can do it. Did everybody get that part done? I just want to double check to make sure everyone's okay with this part. Because like I said, I can show you again because this part is a little bit trickier because we want to animate our character. We want to make them come alive. And yeah, this is the best way to do it. Okay, let's see here. Sure, Sanjay, I can show you again. So come over here and click on the start menu, click on your virus, the one you originally created. Click on the marquee tool. It's the one next to the hand right here. Click on it. It's right next to the hand. Left click up here on your mouse and pull. Pull all the way around your virus. And these dotted lines should be all the way around your virus like this, okay? Once you do that and you're good to go, hold down Control and hit C, copy. Control C, or actually if you're on a Mac, I'm not sure if you're on a Mac or not, it might be Command C. If some of you are on a Mac, sorry, I forgot about that. It might be Command C. Is anyone on a Mac? Or are you all on PCs? Or are you all on Macs? I don't even know. I should have asked that question at the start, I guess. Anyway, Control C or Command C. Click Done. Come all the way back over to your function, the one we had just built out. Click on your little animation window and hit Control V as in vector or volleyball or, yeah, V. And it will paste your character into your window, which is really nice because now we can animate them. Take your character. You can see there's a character over here and there's a play button and there's a number. Let's start by changing this number to 200 because that's how fast it runs through the animation. And all I want you to do is click the copy button and that will make, there's the first copy. There's this, well, there's the original and there's the first copy. And you can tell which one you're on because it'll have these little trash can and double copy thing. Now, my second one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the marquee tool and I'm going to move these little, I guess they're kind of like virus feelers. I'm going to move them around in my window here. You can see them kind of just grabbing each one of them and I'm moving them around just a little bit. And you'll see what happens when I do this in a second. Maybe this one right here, I'm going to move it like there. And this one here goes up. And this one, I'm going to go to the right. Now, if I click play up on the top up here, watch. Look right here. It's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between these two animations. And it makes it look like these things are kind of moving around. Now, this one's not moving at all. So I'm going to make sure I move this one down here. Hold on a second. There we go. Now that one's moving too. Now what I can do is I can copy again. And this time I can maybe like make his eyes move a little bit. So I can make his eyes move to the, I'm going to make his eye. You can watch his eye right there. See his eye is moving? And I'll take, let's see, what else could I do? I'll take the marquee tool. I like to use the marquee tool a lot. And I'll put this eye over here. Let's make this green. Actually, green like that. And there you go. Look at his eyes. See, his eyes are moving. It's going 1, 2, 3. It's going through those 3 animations. And I guess on this one, I could also move the little, what do you call them, strands? Or I'm not sure the exact term for it on a virus. But you can move these around. Hold on a sec. I'm just going to finish this last little part. And I see some people have some questions in the chat. Just going to make sure I get this last little animation in here before I answer your questions. And This is our idle animation, basically. Actually, yeah. We'll use this as our idle animation. So you can see my character is really coming alive there. Okay, let me come down. Yeah, JFK, Control C, and let me explain Control C for you. You do Control C when you're on this character, your original character. So what you do is you use the marquee tool, you highlight the entire character, and you hold down Control and you hit C, as in copy. Then you come back over this way, and you click on this one, which is your animation character, and you hit Control V, as in vector, and that will paste your character. Now, my character is looking not bad. I guess I could see I'm changing the green color on it too. So your character should be coming alive a little bit, or they should be more alive than they were before anyway. Before they probably didn't have any well, they didn't have any animation at all, right? So now what you will notice is even if you're done your animation over in your window over here, your animation will not work. It's not working. And the reason for that is because you have to actually, this animation, you'll notice here my animation says not moving. You can make it for moving, facing up, facing down, facing left, facing right. I'm going to do my animation for, let's see, what should I do this animation for? Maybe for moving. I'm going to try that for when my character moves. What you need to do to make this work is you need to come way over here to your start menu. You need to click on functions and you need to call the animation. And you put it just on the bottom like that. So when I do that, watch what happens here. Now, when my character moves, they have an animation. Now, when they stop, there's no animation, which is kind of a bit silly. But when they're moving, we have an animation, right? When they stop, I've got nothing. So what I'm going to need to do now is once I've got my moving animation, I'm just going to come all the way back here. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to change this animation to my not moving animation. Now, my not moving animation, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm going to maybe make him bob up and down kind of like this. Maybe like see how his head goes up and down like that. I'm going to delete this one for my not moving animation. Let's see what this looks like. I'm not sure what he's doing there, but let's try this out. I'm going to move this part up. Actually, it kind of looks more like a pickle than a virus. Oh man. Okay, so let's I'm gonna cut this out here. Maybe move his eyes this way. Let's see what we got. Okay, so JFK, if you're having trouble with the idle, why don't you copy your code and toss it into the chat for me, and then I can kind of maybe run through your code and see where the issue might be happening. And to mention it again, the animation code, no, just your whole code. So click on the share button, click on the share project, click on the copy button, and paste that into the chat here. And then I'll take a look at yours to see maybe what the problem is, and I can help you out directly. Cool, thank you. Give me 1 sec, and I'll grab your code. I'll bring it over here, and I'll show you. This one should be yours. Okay, I'm coming over here. And let's see, you've got your character there, which is this one. So you've got that part correct. Now, over on the side, you only have one animation right here. You need at least two for it to work. So watch what I do here. I'm going to click on the copy button. That's made 1, 2 animations. Think of it as like 2 pieces of paper, okay? Here's my second piece of paper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the marquee tool. And all I'm going to do is kind of move pieces of the arms around just to like, change the second. Think of it as a piece of paper. That's the easiest way to think about it. It changes the second piece of paper to a different animation. I don't know if everyone here has made flip books before, where you flip, you kind of make different pictures and you flip every page you flip over, it changes the picture. Now look over here. When I click play, see that? It changes the animation. It's going between this picture and this picture, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, yeah. And once you do that, once you do that, so watch one more thing here, JFK. So come over, make sure if you can have it moving or not moving, it's up to you. It doesn't matter. Make sure that you click back on advanced. You come down to functions and you click call animation. So you put it under here and then you call the animation and watch here. It should work. Yeah, there you go. See, he's kind of moving up and down. He's a bit jumpy. I'm not sure. That's probably because I moved the legs up and down. So you probably want the legs to touch the bottom. That's something that hopefully that made sense anyway. I'm going to actually use yours as an example because I think this is a good point. And I forget to mention this sometimes. You can see your top animation, the legs touch the bottom right here. Your second animation, the legs don't touch the bottom here anymore. And that is what causes, I'll show you, the jerky movement in your camera because the hitbox is changing. So generally, as a rule, and this is a good idea, don't bring the legs off the ground. Maybe just add in a variation on the legs. So let's try that. Does that look okay? Let's see. There you go. Let's see if this changes our camera movement problem because a jerky camera looks weird. See? Yeah, that solves the, you got a good jump there too. See, that solves the camera movement problem as long as these legs stay on the ground. So if anyone's having issue with that, I always forget to mention that. Keep your animations on the ground. Otherwise, you might have some weird, like, jerky movement. I'm surprised I didn't actually. Let's see. Are all my animations on the ground? Yeah, because this part touches. Anything you lift off the ground, if you don't have a space below here, you're going to have some camera problems. Okay, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of code, but it's a part of the process, right? Now, if you're feeling like adventurous, you can duplicate it again, and you can add in like an animation for facing right and facing left. So, for example, if I move to the right, I'm going to have a moving, let's see, I'm going to flip these animations around actually. So I'm going to put my moving animation on the top. Sorry, my not moving animation on the top, and my moving left animation, I'm going to put it here, and my moving right animation, I'm going to put here. So to change the direction of your character, you can just click this little tiny button here, and it'll flip your character in the other direction. So this way, watch this. This is kind of cool. I have an animation that walks to the right and an animation that walks to the left. See that? So my character changes direction depending on which way I push the arrow. And then when they stand still, he's got like an idle animation. So this thing that we're working on right now is really important in your game or your story or whatever you're working on because it's basically it really helps your character come alive. And you can actually change the animations depending on what you touch. So if I touch this, I could have it so my animation changes. Maybe he throws his hands up or his tendrils up in the air or something. I don't know. We're not going to talk about that right now, but understanding this function and how these pieces work right here is really important. So I'm going to leave that up. I know you're probably all working on your animations right now. And I'll let you focus on that. If anybody wants to toss their game or their story into the chat so I can just check it out, I'm always eager to check out what everyone else is building. So go ahead and feel free to share your code with me, and then I can see how yours is coming along. I think probably, let's see here. I always forget some of the other stuff. So you can also have, and this is interesting, you can have animations for when they hit a wall. So you can have them like straighten up. So maybe I'll try, I do a hitting wall, I'll do a hitting wall right. Actually, no, that's a bad idea. I'm making it too complicated. I'm going to duplicate this code here, put it down the bottom, and I'm going to create a hitting wall right code. Mine doesn't move. Okay, so the reason why yours doesn't move, and I'm going to guess, is if you come over to your start menu right here, you want to have the call animation inside of the start menu right here where it says call animation. To get that, you have to click on functions and you have to take the call animation and you have to put it on the bottom of your start menu. If you don't do that, your animation will not work. So I'm going to assume, Minjun, that that's what your problem is. But if not, yeah, just go back in the chat and then we'll see if we can find it as something else. Okay, I'm going to go, what is it? Moving wall, hitting wall right. And I'm going to, I think I'm going to make him kind of like splat, like hit the wall. I don't know. I haven't really actually used this one very much. So let's see here. How am I going to do this? I'm going to make him like kind of flatten out if I can. I'm not the best animator, so let's see here. Maybe like that kind of. I don't know if that's exactly splat hitting the wall, but let's see here. Like that. And I could have some like maybe some like hit animation kind of coming off the character like that. And then I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to trash my other two animations, that one and that one. Maybe I shouldn't trash them, actually. So how does that look? That looks weird. Okay, this is my first time doing a hitting the wall animation, so I'm gonna work towards it. So let's go like here, like that. Put this one up top. And this one, I'm going to put him right into the wall like this. I always make that mistake of not pulling to the bottom. There we go. And let's try it. Let's put him right up against the wall like that. As I said, this is my first time doing this one, so not really sure exactly how this is supposed to look. Okay, like that. I'll do some more. All right, so let me see. I've never actually used a hitting wall animation, so let's see what that looks like. So come back this way. I'm going to hit a wall this way. Boom. Oh, it doesn't really work that well, actually. It just flips. It actually just flips my character, so. Hitting wall right. Maybe I have to be and moving right. Maybe I have to put two things in. Moving right. I don't know if that's maybe why the code isn't working. Let's try it out. Okay, so like I said, if you wanted to, no, it's still not working. I'm going to have to look into this one a bit more because it doesn't seem to do exactly what I want it to. Okay, I'll have to explore that a bit more. How's everyone doing with their animation? I'll leave mine back up here. And yeah, like I said, if you want to toss yours into the, yours is working well? Good, JFK. I can't even get mine to work. So I've got something wrong in my code here. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but yours is working. Your hitting wall animation is actually working. Okay. I should learn from you then. Yeah, so that is a good way to kind of show just, basic animation creation, which is pretty important for your characters. So I'm just going to come back and I'm going to actually, I don't like to have all my code open because I find it sometimes it gets a bit messy. So I'm just going to collapse my code blocks and I'm going to kind of sit them next to each other. So this one, I'm going to collapse it. I'm going to sit it next to this one. Personally, I just like it to look a little bit cleaner. That way, when I want to come back, I don't have to go all the way down the line. I have my my code just ready to go for me. I'm just going to minimize my comments here. It's always good to clean up, right? It's like, cleaning up your room or cleaning up your locker or whatever. You want to make sure that you're cleaning up after yourself when you're coding. Otherwise, it can get really messy and junky and it's hard to find anything. So you can see my code is fairly clean now. I've got my start code. I've got my jump code. I've got my sign code. And I've got my animation code all in a nice, neat row here. And when I want to use one, I just pop it down and I can open it up and I can drag it and be like, okay, I'm going to work inside my I'm going to work inside my sign code again. So I would suggest that you try and keep house a little bit and keep your code as clean as you can. Okay, how's everybody doing on your end? I'm going to go into, I think what I'll do next is I'll go into our first challenge. Your first kind of part of the first challenge that your virus will face trying to get into the body. I think that might be kind of a cool thing to look at next because we want to make our game hard. Right now, our game's, well, it's not really a game. It's not really a story because we're just kind of setting up our scene for the work. Does anybody want to share theirs with me? You don't have to, but JFK, what did you miss? Do you want me to pop my code open again? I can open it up for you again if that's easier. You should have your story and character libraries. No. Things on your screen. Which things on which part on my screen? Now, one thing you can't do is you can't shift click things. So you can't highlight multiple things in MakeCode, which is something I wish they would work on. Okay, I'm just going to put my function over to the right here. There we go. Okay, all of them. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. So does everybody need a couple more? Oh, I'm just gonna look at the chat here. I mean, how did you get to where you are now? Oh, you mean like pushing these all down and making these all small? Or are you talking about like the actual code part? Which part are you talking about? Like how I made it so kind of neat like that? Pressing them down. Oh, neat. Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah. What I did was I right clicked the code. So I right click with my mouse and there's a collapse block function right here. So if you click it, it collapses the block and makes it small. Yeah. And then, yeah, so that's all you need to do to make it nice and neat. Personally, I like that. I mean, you don't have to do that, but honestly, if it's big and kind of complicated, I get kind of confused. So I have no idea what's going on. Okay, everybody. I'd like to try and move on to the next part, but I want to make sure that your animations are all working. Is everybody okay for moving on? Do you need a little bit more time to work on your animation? It's up to you. We're doing really good here. Like we're pretty much bang on schedule with what I wanted to get through today. We might even get a little bit farther than I thought we would, which is a good thing. Does anyone need more time for their animation? Remember, talk in the chat to me. That way I know what's going on. Oh, Minjun, you're gonna send it to me. Cool. I love it. Let's bring yours over. And cool. This one's kind of like mine. Warning, danger. Oh, I like it. That's pretty good. And I can jump right off here, right down to the bottom. Good. That's awesome. Good work. Okay. Everyone else, so please type in the chat whether you're okay to move on or you need a little more time. So JFK needs a little more time. He put in a watch for me. I'm going to assume that means you need a little more time. Carson is okay. Carson's okay for time. Okay, I'm just trying to gauge where you all are so I don't rush anyone. I wish this chat would auto scroll. That would be nice. Oh, sorry, JFK, you are finished. Sorry. Is that a watch you sent me? I can't tell what. Oh, it's a satellite. Sorry, I thought it was like a watch. I totally, yeah, I didn't say the right thing there. So Carson's okay. JFK is okay. If everyone else can just put their Sunwoo is good. JFK. Kennedy, how are you doing? Aiden, how are you doing? Leonardo, how are you doing? Just type into the chat there, and I want to know where you are and if you're having any problems. Everyone seems to be okay. Good. Okay, I don't see anyone that's behind or anything like that. So please speak up in the chat. Don't be shy. All right, so here we go. So let's do our next part. So what we want to do for this next part is come over to your start menu right here. I'm going to pop my start menu open. And I am going to click on my character, not my character, the headless kind of person, or the head of the person here. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on my tiles, and we're going to create something that's going to kind of be like a trap for the character. Okay. So to do that, we're gonna. I think probably, and I looked this up actually when I was working with a science class on this one. And a virus that wants to get into the body, the actual first thing that a virus faces, like coming into the body, is the skin. Like if you don't have any skin on you, the virus would it would get in right away. So actually, the skin is the first challenge the virus would have to get through. So in terms of making it a story, I would think that probably let's build out some areas that are like traps of skin that would like slide off and shoot your virus out and maybe, kill your virus, right? That's kind of our first step. So what I want you to do, come over to your My Tiles, click on the plus sign, and let's do like, how should we do this? Maybe let's make it a different color. So I'm going to make mine kind of like, I guess it'll be kind of like spikes. I'm gonna do mine like spikes. You don't have to do that yours like mine, but it's totally up to you how you want to draw it. I'm gonna draw mine kind of like spikes, and it'll be like the skin sloughing off, and the virus, when it touches it, it's going to eject the virus out of the off the body completely. So let's just do that. So I'm just gonna draw some spikes. I don't think they're kind of I guess they're not really that pointy, but that's okay. And I'm just going to type in, challenge 1, because we'll make multiple challenges, and this one will be our first one. And I'm going to blend it with the skin a little bit by adding maybe some of that color of the skin on the bottom. So it's a bit of a blend of both. Then I'm going to click done, and I'm going to pop that just in some key places. So I'm going to put one right there. Where else can I put one? I'm going to put one right here. And I'm going to put one on the end of the nose right here. So for now, I'm just going to add 3 just to test it out. And I can always add more if I want. This will be like the first kind of challenge for the virus to get through. The first, I guess, barrier, maybe that's a better word. So go ahead, add that in. I chose spikes. You can choose whatever you want. And make sure you name it. I just find naming things is easier. So I put challenge 1 on the bottom. I should make that a capital C, actually. Challenge 1, done. And done. Okay, so let's come over here and let's create a new comment. And I'm going to call this challenge 1, because number 1, because that's what it is. Put it up here. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Why did I not know that? It makes it so much easier. I'm just going to do this with all of my code, actually. And here. There we go. And I'm going to collapse this block. All right, so I'm coming over to my challenge 1 here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do another overlap block. So come into your scene block, and we're going to come back down to the this one right here where it says on sprite of kind player overlaps checkerboard. We already used this once. We used it for our sign code. So it's the same thing. And this time we're going to say when we overlap the spikes, which is I guess the kind of skin sloughing for the virus that it doesn't want. Now we're going to add a couple things in here that we haven't really used yet. The first one we're going to add is we're going to change the velocity of the sprite. Basically, we're going to shoot the sprite in a direction. So click on sprites on the top, come down, and we're going to use the change block. Under physics, we've used the physics a little bit before, but this is going to be, yeah, fur is okay. We're going to use this one right here. Change my sprite x by 0. So pull that out. But we're not going to change the x. We're going to change the vx velocity. So 1, 2, 3. It's the third one down. And to make them like shoot them out like they're being fired out of a cannon, we're going to change it to -1,000. You can do less if you want, but that basically pushes the sprite. This is the x-axis, right? Like left and right. It's going to push the sprite on a negative direction, so going this direction. This is the positive. This is the negative to the left. So it should push the sprite with like gravity to the left. Sorry, not gravity, using velocity. And then let's add an effect into that. Oh, I can't find my trap. You mean when you walk down the character, Minjun, you can't find it? Oh, you mean when you click here? When you click on here, you can't find it. Okay, well, if you built it, Minjun, inside of your character here, if you built it inside of this character, this right here, inside of my tiles, it's right here. If you built it in there, you should be able to find it. But if you built it somewhere else, you will not be able to find it. You have to build it in my tiles and click the plus sign, Minjun, to make that work, okay? That's probably why you're not finding it, I'm going to assume. But we can always check your code out if I'm wrong. Okay, back to here. Let's do effect. So click on sprites. Let's do effects are down here. They're a little bit farther down. I don't even know if we've used these yet. It says my sprite start spray effect right here. Pull it out, and I'm going to add a fire effect. So I'm gonna light my sprite, which is me, the virus, on fire for about 1 second. So it's gonna like light up my character. And then I'm gonna get my sprite to say something. So I can just click on sprites, and I think it's right here. It says my sprite say, and it has a happy face. Sorry, I did that way too quickly. My sprite say happy face. It's this one right here. Drag it out, put it in the bottom, and then I'm gonna have my sprite say, "What just happened?" Like that. And then I can have like a couple question marks, like that. Okay. And then what you're going to do is the final thing you want to do is you want to destroy your sprite. So click on sprites, and it's under destroy is right here. It's under effects. So it's just below the spray effect, and it's destroy. So that'll actually like destroy your sprite, and you can destroy it with any effect you want. I'm gonna do something fairly friendly. I'll do like a disintegrate effect for 1 second, and that should like destroy my sprite. Okay, I'm gonna leave this code up. Let me make it bigger for you so it's easy to see. And I know this is 4 pieces of code, so if you're having any trouble finding any of these pieces of code, please just tell me in the chat, and I can redo. I can show you again where to find those. But those are all blue, so they're all inside of the sprites library with the paper airplane on it. Okay, so I'll just leave that code up for a minute here and then see if any of you have any trouble finding those blocks. And then I'll actually test it to see if it works. So I've got to actually test run this. Maybe I'll test run it now. Well, can't find it. So that's all good. So JFK, you can't find which one, which piece of code that you see in front of me here can you not find? Destroy sprite with effect. Okay, so that's the bottom one down here. So that's under sprites. And if you come down, it's under effects right here, the effects tab. And it's right here. It's the 3rd one down. Effects and number 3 there. So hopefully that'll help. Yeah, I'm going to make this a bit bigger. I'm going to see if this actually works because I haven't tested this yet. So sign works. Come down, come down. Whoa. Okay, it really launches me. I guess I'm going to get this to say this for 200 milliseconds. It really launches my character. I could launch them maybe not so quickly. Maybe minus 1,000 is way too much. I'll do minus 200. Let's see if that's any better. Any better. All right, so come down, down. Oh, yeah. That's a little bit better. They still kind of like disappear. What you could have, I guess, below here is you could have a story button, and then you could have a start cutscene, and you could put in print. You could print something. Like you could say, you didn't make it into the body. Looks like you slipped on some skin. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly what to say there, but I'm just going to put that. Let's see if that works, because I actually haven't tried using a cutscene below this. So I'm just going to make that a bit bigger and come down, down. Okay. No, it's not working. I think it's putting the code. I think it's putting the camera somewhere else. So let's see. Ah, yes, it's putting the camera at 0, 0. Yeah, the game over screen is actually pretty easy. It's this little button right here that says game. And it's, if you come down a little bit, there's a game over screen right here. Maybe that's a little easier one to use for us. So there's a bunch. You can use any one of these ones. I'm gonna use this game over one, like the basic one, and I'm gonna change it to lose. So let's try that out. Let's see if this one works. It might be a bit simpler. Sometimes simpler is better than trying to make it too complex, because you don't need to make things complicated. Okay, so yeah, that works, but it seems to destroy the character like almost instantly. So I'm wondering if we can put a pause a bit in between that. I wonder if there's a way. Let's see here. I can't remember. A game. Let's see here. No, those are all dialogue blocks. Now, another thing you could do, I'll figure this out in a minute, but you can add your music into it here, right? So at the very top, the fourth one down is like a melody thing. So you can build out a little melody for the start of your game, like if you just wanted to have one. I wouldn't put it in the start block. Sorry, I wouldn't put it inside that block. I would put it inside of the start block. You can start your game out with like a little song. So if I click on the play melody, now this song one must be new. So I'm going to toss this one in and play around with it. Ah, I see. So you can put in, well, I didn't do a great job there, but it looks like these are all, I don't know if you can hear that. These are all different sounds. And then you can erase them and add different sounds. And so I'm going to do this one. Oh, thank you, Ali. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm trying to make it better. So if you listen there, that was kind of cool actually. If I reset it, it it plays my little song. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Ooh, I got an error. I wonder why. I can do this until done. That means it plays the entire song and then it starts my game. I can do it in the background. I can loop it too, so it plays over and over and over. I don't know if I like my song that much to play over and over, but I'm just going to loop it in the background. Let's try that again. So let's click play. Oh, I might have an error in my code somewhere. Let me redo this and see if I have an issue somewhere. It seems like my code's a bit funky right now. Let's try that again. It might be my internet connection. There we go. Oh, that's kind of a nice song, actually. And I totally made that up. Now I could add more measures on here, so I can make my song a lot longer. The measures are on the bottom, so I could like change my song up. I kind of like that. Weird. I really need music skills though. I guess I'm going to. Um, and okay, no, I don't want that there. Let's add. No, 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 no. Let's see. How do I need to move this around? So can I grab this and move it? No. Oh, I can erase it. That's how you do it. You erase the parts and then you re-add them. All that burger on the end. There we go. Done. So let's see. Oh, that's pleasant. Oh, not as pleasant. Oh, It's kind of nice. And I'm doing pretty well in my game so far until I hit that. All right. So yeah, not bad. Just going to collapse this block here. So yeah, I think for today, I'm just going to kind of slow down here. We don't really need to add any more code per se. Code's pretty. I'm gonna pause my music there so you don't have to hear my song. But yeah, we've done tons today, so I'm going to zoom out a bit. So we've built out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of blocks of code, and inside those we have a bunch of new code we've built out. And we have we talked about using the overlap block. We talked about functions. We did some animations. We also we actually did like our first challenge. I guess a little bit of music at the end there. I wasn't expecting that. We added 2 extensions in, our animation extension and our story extension. So yeah, your games or your story should be looking a little bit better. To look a bit ahead at our final session next week, what we'll do is we'll create a bit of a prize. So your character gets to a point just below before they go into the nose, and we'll have a little present for them. And then what we can do is once we've done that, we'll have kind of our 3 elements. We'll have a sign, which explains what the challenge is. We'll have a challenge, and then we'll have kind of I guess, a reward to get through it. And then what we can do is we can push into the nose area and go up inside the nose, and we can start to I can start to talk a little bit more about other types of code we can use in that area to be more efficient and kind of build out some more tough challenges for our characters. Other than that, just going to come in. One thing I do like to do with students is talk about like making a backup. And I know you all sign in using you want to make sure up in the corner. Sometimes students forget this. You have to make sure you're signed in up here. If you don't sign in, it will not save your game, and you'll be kind of disappointed when you come back to your computer and there's nothing there. So first of all, make sure you're signed in up here. Secondly, you can always save your game to your computer, right? So you can click on this little disk icon down here, and it will save it. It takes a second to kind of do it, and it will actually save your game into a file folder. So you can see here's my file folder on my computer, and I'm just going to click that, and then I have like this right here. Oh, actually, it's on another screen. But anyway, it's saved into a file folder on my computer. So if you feel like making a backup copy, I suggest you just click on this little disk here and save it somewhere safe on your computer. Maybe on your computer you can make a folder, and then inside the folder you can have some of your games. I always say it's good to have backup copies of things because you never know what might happen. Then when you want to reload your game, all you have to do is grab it from the file folder, come to Make Code Arcade here, and just drag it in, and it will automatically load your game because they're based, they load off the browser, which is really easy. Okay, so what we're going to do is after our final session next week, I'm going to take your games and I'm going to put them up on a website for all of you to play each other's games, and I can try all of yours. And you can remix each other's games. So just so you know, if you feel like working in the meantime between now and next Tuesday, when we'll have our next session, you can improve your artwork, or if you're feeling like confident with the coding part of it, you're more than welcome to add more challenges in. Like for example, let me come over here. This challenge number 1, if you kind of like this, you could totally create another challenge with a different tile. That's up to you. I'd love to see if some of you feel like being creative and building your own challenges out and changing the code that I've showed you in kind of different and creative ways. That would be awesome.